A mild spring afternoon, Patrick, a masculine man in his 40s, is working as an assistant coach on the pitch. 3 teenage blind girls are learning some simple techniques of football as a private lesson. On the other side of the pitch, other coaches are training some kids in a group. "Well done, girls. That's the progress," says Patrick while standing in a corner and making a concise observation over the training. "All right, that's enough for today," he says with a satisfactory voice. "I want you to keep on exercising at home or at school." He continues while he keeps the ball under his left foot. "There will be a lot of surprises for you next week," Patrick says by changing his tune and making it more exciting. "See you next week," says Patrick while high-fiving with the girls. "See you, coach," say girls almost all together. Patrick goes to the dressing room, takes the red jersey of the club out and takes a shower. When he comes back and after getting dressed, he checks his phone and sees there are some missed calls from Jeff, his father's friend. He is shocked and angry because it never happens that Jeff calls Patrick, and on the other hand, Patrick believes that whatever his father suffers now is because of Jeff. He tries to ignore it, but he thought there might be something important related to Clive, his father. Patrick, while leaving the club, waves hand to other coaches who were standing in the corner and were talking to some kids' parents. Patrick walks to his car and decides to call Jeff. "Patrick, thank God you called me," says Jeff on the phone. "What happened? Something wrong?" asks Patrick with an ignorant voice. No, not at all," says Jeff. "Well, I tried to reach Clive, but his phone is off. If it wasn't important, I wouldn't disturb you so." He continues, "All right, tell me what it is. I can go to his store on the way home and send your message," says Patrick. "Oh, thank you, Patrick. But if you don't mind, I want to tell him in person. Is this okay?" says Jeff with a confident voice. "All right," says Patrick. "I'll be there in 15 minutes. He continues. He gets in his car and drives to his father's store. In the store, both Patrick and Clive are waiting for Jeff's call. Clive is sitting on a chair, a small store that he sells cigarettes in. That's all he has after years of a successful business. He lost them all on gambling and hanging out with people like Jeff. "I don't know what I should call him," Patrick mumbles to himself while he is getting out of his car, and all those painful moments appear in front of his eyes. All those horrible punishments that he thinks he didn't deserve any of them. He was looking into a masculine man with a big mustache and gray beard with a cold, tired look. "Why is your phone off?" "Jeff called me several times," says Patrick. "Jeff, huh? Son of a bitch. Did he call you?" Clive asks without looking at him. "No, not yet. But he is going to call. Probably there is a new project," said Patrick while showing the screen of his phone to Clive. "I don't think I should take him seriously," Clive whispered while he was looking down and smoking his cigarette. Patrick continued looking at him in a way that he won't notice. "Are you sure he's gonna call you? I mean, how many times have you heard a real true word from him?" Clive raised his head and looked into Patrick's eyes for a moment, a serious cold look. Patrick hesitated for a moment and stood up slowly and said, "I got to go. Should I wait for his phone call?" He continued. Clive replied, "If he called, let me know quickly." "All right," Patrick answered. He left his father's store, walking to his car with all these thoughts about how a man like him could still be immature after all these years and all those losses. He remembered those days that there was a lot of money because of his successful business, but he lost them all in gambling and trusting people. Clive was a successful man, a helpful gentleman, but even the time that he was successful, there was a lot of push and take about him. Some people, even those who didn't have any business with Clive, always looked at him as a really helpful man, and some others who were closer to him knew that sooner or later he would lose his reputation. Patrick took out a cigarette hidden in the dashboard of his car and started smoking. In the middle of all these thoughts, his phone rang. "Hello," said Patrick. Hello, Patrick. This is Jeff. Is your father there?" Jeff asked. "I just left his store. Any news for him?" "Yeah. As I said, I can't tell you on the phone. Just tell him to come to the harbor. The Dark Angel, he knows what that means. I will be there in an hour." "All right," said Patrick. Again, a bank robbery or new gambling method. "Well, Jeff, can't be serious," Patrick mumbled by himself. He turned and went back to Clive's store. "He called you?" "Yeah," Clive said. "Yeah, he did," answered Patrick without looking at him. "The first step is taken now. Let's see what has he got in his hand," said Clive. You think if he had something really good, he would come to you, said Patrick. Don't you remember what happened the last time he tried to surprise you? Patrick continued. Clive said the past is history. The future is what I'm looking for. And continued, this time I will both win and take revenge on him. Patrick said, wake up, Clive. You're 65, for God's sake. No. I'm awake. I am. Time for sleeping will be some years later. What did he say? I mean, any details? Clive continued. Yeah. Something like Dark Angel Bar somewhere. He said you already knew that, said Patrick. Dark Angel Bar. Good old days, Clive said. Our old great jobs were all started over there. The Trigger. You know what I mean. He continued. Great jobs, said Patrick with a funny sound. You had great jobs, huh? All I remember was loss and disappointment. He continued. Wait and see, son. This is a job for retirement. I'm going to make life easier for all of us. We're family. Oh, come on, Clive. After all these years you remembered you have family, huh? Patrick said angrily. What were you all those days that we were looking for you, huh? He continued. Hey. Not now. Later. I will prove a lot of things. Now I just want to focus on my job, said Clive. I will change everything. Patrick angrily looks at him. There is no belief in his luck. It looks like the story that he has heard several times before. Patrick receives a phone call that changes the atmosphere. Kate, says Patrick on the phone. Again in the middle of lots of things. Yeah. Asks Kate on the phone by a nice tune that makes Patrick forget all those tensions. While talking and without looking at Clive, he leaves his store. Always busy, says Patrick, but always with you and Ivan. He continues. Yeah, you sure? Says Kate. Yes, sure. Patrick replies. Okay, says Kate. Just don't forget tonight, she continues by changing her tune to sound more serious. Yeah, Ava's birthday, says Patrick. Remember that. He continues. I have almost arranged everything. Has some shopping to do. Just get the cake on the way home. Okay, says Kate. Yeah, sure, answers Patrick. See you at night, says Kate. See you, honey, answers Patrick. He gets in his car and drives to his office. He has an education consultancy. He is an experienced teacher in a football coach. He teaches every day and he goes to a football academy and works part-time as an assistant coach on weekends. In his office, Sheila, a nice secretary, is sitting and answering phone calls and taking some notes. He goes to his office, sits behind the desk and tries to forget everything. Sheila finishes his phone call and comes to his office. Is everything okay? Sheila asks. Yeah, just some headache, answers Patrick. Has anybody called? He continues. Yes, there will be new teacher training on the way, including 16 desperate teachers, says Sheila. Sounds good, answers Patrick. With lots of work to do, Sheila says with a tricky tone. Did you arrange the time? It was supposed to be on even days, wasn't it? I did, except one. Others didn't have any problem with that, and that one who was let me check. Yeah. A teacher from a private school is going to rearrange his schedule to get to the course, answers Sheila with confidence. Good job, says Patrick. Please email me the list. Patrick continues. Sure, says Sheila while leaving Patrick's office. While Patrick is trying to focus on his jobs, he can't forget what has happened in his father's store. Patrick is a hardworking man, but always he imagined big money coming out of nowhere. That's why sometimes without anyone noticing he used to follow his dream. He got a message. He checks his phone and checks it. 10 p.m. Tonight in the garage. Initiation $5,000. He hesitates and glares into the screen of his phone. He is a middle-class person with an average income that sometimes doesn't support the demands of his family like most people. He always welcomes big money. He remembers the last time that he played and lost a lot of money. The money that he had worked hard to make it up. More than that money, he remembers his vow. He promised Kate not to go back to poker again. He ignores the message and goes back to work. It's about 5 p.m. And as he promised, he is going to get the cake for his daughter's birthday. Patrick drives his car to the confectionery near his house and goes in. There is a nice lady with a beautiful smile standing inside. Patrick remembers that he forgot to order in advance. He has no other choice. He checks all cakes available in store and finally says, do you think that one will suit a girl on her 7th birthday? I guess so. But if you want to see a real smile on her face, I recommend this one," says the lady and shows Patrick a lovely pink cake with a nice shape of a heart on it. "Sounds good," says Patrick. "How much?" asks Patrick. $27.50, answers the lady. He pays the money and says keep the change, gets the cake and leaves the store. Before getting into his car, he gets another message plan is changed to 10:30. The same place, the same details. He just puts his phone in his pocket and gets in the car. While driving, he can't forget the message. Something is tempting him to go and try it one more time. Thursday afternoon shouldn't be that crowded. There is traffic and it takes more time to get home. He turns the radio on and puts his hand on the left window and scratches his forehead. The idea of going to play poker tonight totally occupied his mind. On the other hand, thinking about his father and his decisions is still in his mind. After some minutes, he gets home. He opens the door and goes inside. Seeing his wife and his daughter makes him forget everything. "Hi, Daddy," says Ava and jumps into him. A clever, lovely 6-year-old girl with a lot of passion and energy. "Happy birthday, honey," says Patrick. "Thank you, Daddy. There will be a lot of fun tonight, huh?" asks Patrick. "Yes," answers Ava. "By the way, Mommy invited Grandpa too." Kate shows up with a smile and a little chop. Patrick looks at Kate and sadly whispers, "Grandpa, huh?" "Without letting me know about it," asks Patrick quietly in a way that Ava doesn't notice. "He is her grandpa," answers Kate while she was pointing at Ava to remind Patrick that they shouldn't talk like that in front of her. Ava says, "Daddy, can I take it to the fridge?" She points at the cake and continues, "I will not open it till the party, I promise." "You good girl," says Patrick. "Sure you can." Ava takes the cake and smiles at her mom and goes to the kitchen. He didn't even know that today is his grandchild's birthday, asks Patrick with a serious tone. "How sure are you?" answers Kate. "By the way, he is an old man with a lot of concerns." Kate continues, "A lot of concerns, huh?" answers Patrick with a silly voice. Kate goes to the kitchen and Patrick takes his coat out and leans on the sofa. He takes a deep breath, takes a remote controller of TV and finds a channel to watch football or sports news. While changing the channels, he finds one talking about lottery and gambling. He glares into the TV but again remembers the message and checks his phone.